I'm gonna have to start that again. Welcome everyone to the 9th edition of our webinar series, Hood of Chat. Woo! We kept it going, and this is the 9th one, and I'm really, really excited about this particular episode because we're going to have a nice time and we're going to learn quite a lot that is practical and that's helpful in our everyday living. So as it's custom to this to our events, I'd like everyone on this webinar to just drop a message on the chat and tell us what city in the world you're joining us from. We've had people from around the world join us over time, and it's usually a fun thing to see where everyone is joining us from. So my name is Confidence Stavely, and I am your host for today, and also incidentally the founder of No Go For Maga, the host organization for this webinar. And I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. So I'd like to read from everyone who is an attendee what part of the world you're joining from. Oh, I see my sister girl, Veronica Rose from Kenya. I'm so excited to have you here. So I want more people to just share where they're joining us from. Oh, Olariwaju is joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, wow, we have someone from London. You see why I like us to share where we're joining us from, because it could just be from anywhere in the world, any part of the world, and this is a truly international event. So I'd like more people to just share what part of the world you're joining us from. Wow, someone is joining us from Brussels in Belgium. Exciting, very exciting. You see, our reach is not just Nigeria. We have people joining us from other parts of the world. Okay, we have someone joining us from Asaba, Delta. I am really excited to see someone from Delta State today. I'm really, really excited. So welcome everyone. And while we have those cities, just keep dropping what cities you're joining us from. We're just going to begin the webinar now. So today's webinar is titled Social Engineering and Password Security. I don't know anyone that is accessing the internet right now that does not have a password. It's not possible. So this is a topic that affects just about everyone. And the truth is, passwords have come a long way from ancient times where they were required for accessing to places like a castle to modern times where they're a means of digital authentication, really. Passwords don't seem to be going away anytime soon, regardless of what a lot of people selling products that sort of try to do that are saying. But passwords aren't going away anytime soon. And as such, passwords, especially passwords with privileged access, are a target for cybercriminals. And as you know, they can access a lot of sensitive information with them. Now, this is evidenced by the 2019 Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report, which states that 80% of hacking-related breaches still involving compromised and weak credentials. Wow. Compromised and weak credentials, I'll take that again, is the reason why 80% of the data breaches that happened in 2018, 2019 were recorded. So this is the reason why I'm really excited about this webinar, this particular episode, because it's a special one. It's a special one. Okay, I've just seen that Abbas is joining us from Lagos to exciting, very awesome. Now, 29% of all data breaches, regardless of attack type, involve the use of stolen credentials. Wow. So stolen credentials are a thing. So in this 9th edition in this series, we are seeking to explore the ways malicious actors steal login credentials using social engineering. No Go For Maga, the host organization, is all about driving awareness about how social engineering is basically the center of crime. And we know in Nigeria that social engineering is the #1 cyber threat faced in Nigeria. And that's why this webinar and everything we do, we always tie social engineering to whatever topics we discuss, because this is the #1 cyber threat faced in Nigeria. Now, I'll come back to speaking about the topic for today, but I would just want to talk about our host, No Go For Maga. No Go For Maga is an initiative of CyberSafe Foundation. CyberSafe Foundation is an organization that is a not-for-profit that is driving pockets of change to ensure that everyone with access to technology in Nigeria is doing that securely. And we're doing that through their initiatives, one of them being No Go For Maga. So No Go For Maga I like to call it an army of young people that are, driving awareness about digital crimes, about cyber fraud in particular, those ones that involve impersonation of a trusted organization, which of course is social engineering. So that is what we are about as a whole. And I can see that Moses is joining us from from Mombasa, Kenya. Welcome, Moses. Moses is a regular. Moses is a regular. One of these days, he should actually be the host. So welcome. So now that I've introduced Nogo Formaga, I will just go back to speaking about this particular episode. Now, we are going to be providing clarity on password and security and its intersection with social engineering. Like I said, Nogo Formaga is all about speaking about social engineering and how it's helping cybercrime. The success of it is helping cybercrime. Now, we're going to be defining passwords as a method of authentication in something you know category, of course. And we're going to be describing various ways users generate and manage passwords. We're also going to be touching on how social engineering is used in attacks such as dropping infected USB drives, phishing, farming, shoulder surfing, remote administration tools, of course, used to steal passwords, and ways of mitigating these attacks. We're also going to be doing something around the best password practices, such as use of strong passwords, enabling multi-factor authentication, and of course, using password managers. I'm not sure about the show and tell on this episode because of a little issue our host is having with the platform he's using. API calls have been quite a lot in preparation for this event, so he's having an issue there, but we'll see how that pans out. And trust me, we are going to be bringing you a lot of value still in this webinar. I can see that Sukomi is joining from Lagos. Welcome, Sukomi. So I'm not alone actually on this webinar. No. I'm not going to be doing the talking. I'm just going to be telling you about the person who is going to be doing the talking. His name is Eyitemi Egbejule. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm really sorry if I didn't. But this guy is, this guy is badass. Pardon my French. He hacks and he writes codes and he likes to play music. He works for Paystack as a security engineer, and he maintains a side project called Project Dinta. He also runs a threat intelligence research group called Legolas Labs and other random projects, I mean to say. Now, his main work interest lies in reverse engineering, malware research, responsible vulnerability disclosures, application security, and ecosystem building. Oh, wow. In his past life, he has done security at a healthcare startup. In fact, he has worked for multiple industries, including FMCGs, airlines, banking, travel, startup incubation, to mention the list. And he's also consulted for Fortune 50 companies and built tech communities. So this guy, you don't miss any part of Eyitemi's presentation. I can see somebody that knows is basically hailing the background. Fatima, we see you. So Eyitemi, you already have a lot of people already vibing for you like I am. Welcome to the webinar today, and I'm very excited to have you. Please, you have the center stage. Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a security engineer, researcher. Actually, you heard about my bio. I'm just a simple guy who likes to hack. So I hack software, I hack hardware, and sometimes I hack people. And I think that's basically what we're going to be talking about today, the act of hacking people, which is professionally referred to as social engineering, and how fraudsters, scammers, criminals, malicious hackers, they use this technique to build up profits, to commit fraud and build up profit of people. So for a start, we're talking about passwords first. So why do we need passwords in the first place? Because we need to have some form of authentication for any identity. So you have a social media account, right? You have a Twitter account, Facebook, emails, and you use your emails or usernames to access this site, right? They are identities for this sites or applications. And you need a form of identity to confirm that you are who you say you are. So that's why passwords came in the first place. Yeah, so that's literally important passwords for services, having a form of identification, or as we call it technically, authorization. Yeah, authentication. Yeah. Now, authentication sounds big, right? We have multiple forms of authentication. We have authentication that is something you know, which is the most popular form of authentication, which we have as passwords. We have authentication that is something you are, which is mostly employed for mobile devices, biometric, of your thumbprint access or retina scanners. People use iPhones and high-end phones. Uh, then there's something you have as well. So that this is the third stage of authentication. Something you have, and something you have is something actually most of us been using. That is 2FA or two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication comes in multiple forms in terms of SMSs. So you receive a one-time password. When you try login, enter your username and password. You receive a one-time password that's you need to use to as extra step of authentication. Or it could be a hardware token for some people who used to use hardware tokens with banking apps. Yeah, that's another form of authentication. But we're focusing mainly on passwords for today. Why do we need password security in the first place? Because there are criminals out there who want to gain access to your accounts, gain access to your identity, use it for malicious purposes, use it to make profit for themselves, to make money off for themselves. People will tell you, have a strong password, change your password regularly. These are we're going to be looking at as regards password security. So there is a list of, I'm going to try and share my screen a bit. Just a second. Okay, sharing screen. Sure. Can I see screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Oh, great, great. Of 25 common passwords as at 2019, and see if you see your password here, please signify. Don't be shy. If you see your password here, password you use for any service at all, signify. This one, I know people use it a lot, or people use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a lot, right? These are commonly used passwords. And so hackers or criminals, when they're trying to gain access to your account, so you have to say, oh, my Instagram was hacked, my Twitter account was hacked. One of the first things that hackers, I think I should stick to using criminals, say is that, one of the first things they say is that, one of the first things they try is to try using these common passwords. So they have a list, what we call word lists, that is a list of commonly used passwords. So they could create a list of word lists up to like 1,000 or 1 million entries, and then try this word is passwords against your account till they're able to get a successful login and then gain access. That's one thing. But then people, the most common advice that you get for password security is use a very strong password, right? So I'm going to just be showing something. There are these sites which I use for demonstrate how secure a password can be. How secure is my password.com. So you can try this on your own. How secure is my password.com. Oh, is it just a second? I think I got that wrongly. Okay, .net, sorry, it's .net.com. How secure is my password.net? So essentially what this site does is that it gives you a test of your password strengths. So I'm going to enter one of these passwords on these lists. I'm just going to pick this one password and try it here. what do you see? This password is so weak that it can be cracked instantly. Uh, so if you're using password PASSWORD as your password, or you're using a variation, say you add maybe 1, 2 after it, this is how long it take a smart computer to try and crack your password. So if somebody has time and wants to try to hack your Instagram account, wants to hack your Gmail account, and you're using PASSWORD 1, 2 as your password, this is how long it will take to crack it. So if you go through the list of every single thing on this list, you will see that all of them get they're easily cracked, right? So that's why it's advisable to use a simple password or use a name. So most people will use their name, say a name like what's Jonathan. People use surname as password, and it's not advisable to do that because of this reason. So if you're going to create a password, if you're going to create a strong password, it's advisable that you use a password that's just a second. I'm going to try not. See. So I'm going to create a. I hope we can see something. This can we see this text written? Is this good enough?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see the
Okay,
notepad.
I just want to. Oh, I wanted to confirm about that text size.
Right.
So yes, this is password, right? So if I'm going to use password as my password, what I would want to do is to substitute characters in this password. So instead of having an A, have something like an at, something O, have some use 0 instead, and add numbers instead. So add numbers like say 8, 9. So let's try this. Try this now and see how it fares. So it takes 6 years. So simply by adding, adding special characters as arts, adding numbers to this password, it has increased the complexity, and that makes it harder to crack. So which is why it's advised that we should have all that. I'm going to move forward and show another service. Okay. Yeah. Now you have passwords with stronger complexity, and if you are going to add something that say an asterisk to this, increases complexity as well. Add a dot, increases it. This strengthens your password, right? But then you say, why should I have to have a password this long? I may not possibly remember, I may not possibly memorize, right? And that's where password managers come in place. So it's advised that you have a password manager. There are multiple password managers you could use. There is LastPass, there is Dashlane. Just a second. Okay, I do not have it as a list here, but there is LastPass, there's Dashlane, LastPass, Dashlane, and 1Password. These are 3 most popular password managers. Personally, I use LastPass because of the flexibility it brings for me. And this is it here. LastPass.com. Just a second while it loads up. Okay, so this is LastPass. So you could have multiple accounts. You don't need to know the passwords for them. All you need to do is have a master password, and you know the master password. You log into your password vaults, and they're able to save other passwords there, regardless of how complex they are. Okay, so next, I'm just going to quickly move on to how you could generate secure passwords now. Talked about would make it to add characters in them, but also there's another advice which people give according for password security, that you should not have the same password for multiple services. So you don't use the same password for your Twitter, the same password for your Gmail, same password for your Facebook, same password for Instagram, or same password for your Outlook, right? Because if if one account gets compromised, all the rest will fall off like dominoes. Because an attacker would want to try the same password across multiple services. So how do I get to generate and manage my passwords? Here, your password manager comes in. So I'm just going to show with my own password manager. I already have LastPass installed as a Chrome extension. So I'm going to be using that for this purpose. So if I open my vaults, please promise me nobody's going to try and hack me. I have roughly 341 services I'm signed into. I need I have 341 services that I'm signed into, and all these services, I do not remember the password for every of them. I just have LastPass generate a new password for me anytime I need to sign in. So what I need to do is just come to this part. When I'm signing for a new service, come to this option, generate secure password, and I have the option of setting the password length. So if I want to set password length to depending on requirements for each service. So some services say you should have password length of 8 characters. Some services say have password length of 12 characters or 15 characters. Depending on what you want to set, you just adjust the slider, choose password, choose it, and you could set another option. Say you want something easy to say. The password that you want to say, I'll say. It gives you something like easy to read out loud. Say or easy to reach. Or if you want all characters, a password that has uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols, select the options as you would. And you could keep on going through till you find something you're comfortable with, copy it, and use it for your service. So let's say I was going to log into Facebook. Let's see. Facebook.com. I haven't logged into Facebook in years, though. Automatically, LastPass provides the option for me to sign in. To see a saved password. So I can just click on the save password. Automatically refills. Well, I haven't logged into Facebook in over 3 or 4 years, maybe. But then all I need to do is just go ahead and log in. Unfortunately, you don't log in because I have multi-factor. Require a security token, which is the next I'm going to come up to soon, right? You have a password manager that helps you to manage your passwords securely. What's next? That's where you need multi-factor authentication. Okay, I think I'm jumping a step. Something I should talk about. We've talked about passwords, right? Talk about how you could manage passwords. But then, how do criminals using social engineering to get access to your passwords? I've been talking about what you could do to ensure your password is safe. But what do criminals do to get passwords? Now, a hacker, so let's say I'm a malicious hacker, right? I gain access to service like Facebook. Say I managed to hack Facebook. Let's assume I'm that good enough to hack Facebook, right? And I have access to all password users, user names or emails and password combination of every Facebook user on earth, right? How can I make money of that password list? That combination, password email combination. If I want to start logging into everybody's account one by one, it took me a long time to log in and see their conversations and see who they're talking to and how I can pull information from them, right? So the fastest way for most criminals is to go to dark web forums. There are a lot of dark web forums. So dark web forums. List of. There's a popular one, Silk Road. Well, I've shut down already. But then what hackers do is go to this deep web, some call deep web, some refer to as dark web. But then these are examples of deep web forums, right, or marketplaces. And what happens in these marketplaces or forums? Hackers, criminals, they go to sell password lists. So they hack the service, they go here, sell the password list off. And then people will go, other smaller criminals who do not have the skill to hack passwords here, to hack passwords directly, to come here, buy off. And when they buy off, what they do is they now start trying to log into your service, into your accounts one by one. So they could go to Facebook, try the password and email they've gotten, try to log into Facebook, go to Gmail, try to log in, go to Instagram and all that, right? That is one way which hackers try to get access to your passwords. There's another way, which is social engineering and the multiple types of social engineering. Essentially, what is social engineering? Well, social engineering, as somebody put is a method, well, easy but effective method of gaining information from an unsuspecting target. So I'm sure we're all familiar with all these scam phone calls where somebody will call you. Well, talking about Nigeria, I think across Africa generally, but where somebody will call you and say, "Oh, I'm from your bank. We have your bank details." So they call out your full name, maybe call out your date of birth, and say your bank account details are not complete. We need to update your bank details. So please provide us with so information. So call the number on your credit card for us, or your ATM card or debit card, whichever one you call the number on it. Give us the CVV, the number at the back, and then we will send you a token. When you get the token, please tell us what the token is. That is a classical means of social engineering. That is sometimes referred to as phishing. That's voice phishing, whereby someone calls you, tries to fish. I think phishing is from the term we know, phishing, where you catch a fish, the act of trying to catch a fish. But in this case, trying to fish for passwords, fish for credentials. So spelled PHI. Yes, so this is one of the means of social engineering. There are other means of social engineering. Well, so I've talked about phishing already, which is the voice calls where someone calls you. Phishing is where you get sent an email. So you get sent an email that says, just a second, I'm going to pause share so I can open one I received recently in my email. Just hold on a second. So you receive an email that says, we sell so and so things, or we're from your bank, and we noticed that you signed in to your account and this and that. We want you to log into this link, click on this link and log into, trying to see one. Well, so we have this is your bank. You log in to notice that an illegal login was done into your accounts. Okay, yeah, I think I found one. Yeah, this was just 2 hours ago. Can we all see this? So this is a mail. This is a mail purporting to be from Microsoft and United Nations. Now, if a mail is coming from Microsoft and United Nations, it would carry the official. It will come in from an official website. So say Microsoft.com or UnitedNations.com, something like that, right? But this one is coming from a totally unknown website, AliWatch.com, and well, they send it to me, purportedly coming from Microsoft. Now, thankfully, Gmail flagged it as a spam mail because they were able to detect with their algorithms and to detect that this is a spam mail. But this mail would either be getting me to, no, see now it says, here's a link for registration. So I'm supposed to register, and if I click on it to register, it would most probably ask me to, oh, can you please sign into Gmail? You've been logged out from the Gmail, sign into Gmail. And when I try to sign into Gmail, it is a clone site that I'll be signing into that is set to harvest my password and username, and possibly if I'm using 2FA, harvest the token I'm using as well. This is exactly how phishing mails work, right? They send you an email purportedly from an original organization or somebody you know, but it's a scam mail requesting for information, either requesting for you to sign into a site to register for something, or to send something to someone, right? So yeah, classic phishing mail. So that's another way people try to criminals try to social engineer victims. There are also other methods. So if you watched Mr. Robots, the show Mr. Robots, okay, I think I have that written down here. Yeah. Can we see this? So if you watch Mr. Robots, there's a particular episode where Mr. Robot helps to put a criminal in jail, but then the criminal's boss was trying to blackmail him. So in having to, in trying to rescue the person out of jail, he tries to hack the prison. And in wanting to hack the prison, he sends his sister to drop some USB flash drives in the prison files, hoping that somebody will pick it. That is another classic social engineering tactics. It's playing on human desire, human wants. Well, so imagine if you see a USB drive on the floor in front of your office, what would you do? You'd be like, oh, somebody, maybe you would think that somebody had dropped the flash drive on the floor, right? And you want to pick it up and try to plug it in, see what file is contained on that, maybe try and identify what the owner of the flash drive is so you can give the person back, right? But it's deployed by Alcity to plug the flash drive into your computer and download the malware. So automatically when you plug, like it happened in the movie, one of the prison guards found the flash drive in the car park, picked it up, and when you plug it into a computer, and when it plugged into the computer, it dropped malware on the computer that did a sort of remote connection back to the hacker, who in this case was Mr. Robots. Now, Mr. Robot was now able to take over the prison network. After taking over the prison network, and got access to change prison information and got the person to be released on time, the person they were trying to release. So that's a classic social engineering tactic. There are others which I've listed here, shoulder surfing. So shoulder surfing is when you type, well, it's more in workplaces or coffee shops or shops. People who work from workspaces, who work from hubs, workspaces, is more common around here, where you're typing in a password, typing in your credentials, and then somebody is looking over your shoulder, trying to see what you're typing with the hopes of memorizing. So I see you, you're typing facebook.com, you're trying to log in. I know maybe your email, well, your email is itemi@gmail.com. And looking over your shoulder, trying to see you type a password and gain that information to go log into your account later on. That's another social engineering tactic. Then there is the one of using remote administration tools, which are often referred to as rats. So if you listen to some of these Yahoo boys talk a lot, you hear them talk about rats. I drop one rat, the rat never connects back. Things like that. Or I won't buy one rat from so forum. Yeah, because a remote administration tool is a tool that allows somebody at one end, so let's say in my case, me at my end, connect to another person's device, say confidence in this case, and remotely perform operations on a computer. Remotely perform operations on a computer. And a classic example of a rat tool, although it's a legitimate tool, is TeamViewer. So a lot of us we use TeamViewer, right, at work, where you have an issue with your device, your company device, and then your IT guy in the office says, "Oh, you know what? Download TeamViewer, give me so and so code." let me connect to it, then I'll help you fix whatever the problem is on your device, your laptop, right? That is a remote administration tool. Remote administration tool. Ways to get you to download some of these legitimate tools and some other malicious remote administration tools to remotely control your laptops. So imagine if I have remote access to your laptop, if I can remotely connect to your laptop without you knowing, I should be able to see when you're typing, maybe say, record your screen. So as you're typing in your username and password, typing in your bank details, you pay for something on Jumia or Shopify or Paystack, I can copy your card details. That's one. Also, these remote administration tools can be used to copy keystrokes of your keyboard. So as you're typing on your keyboard, you're logging, keeping a log of every keystroke you type. So if you type ASDF, it's keeping a keystroke, a log of that keystroke. You type your username, it's keeping a log of that. Type your password, enter your credit details, enter your mail address. These tools are keeping logs and then transmitting it back to the malicious attacker in this case, who now uses that, goes on his own end, tries to log in and get access to your accounts, right? Essentially, there are major 4 steps that attackers use for social engineering. One, gather information, like we have mentioned in cases of phishing, sending an email that requires you to register for something or requires you to log into something so they can collect your password and phone number, or phishing when they call you phone scams, so they call you and tell you, oh, we're your bank, we have some information, you have your name. And most of the time, they gather this information from social media. So when you post your bank account details under a giveaway thread on Twitter, somebody at one side is gathering all this information. So I know somebody who did an experiment where he wrote a tool that cross Twitter and picks every time someone's account number on Twitter, picks it, goes to the person's profile, picks the person's username, possibly the person's first name and last name if he has posted it, and then builds a profile of this person. That is an attacker doing social engineering, gathering all this information. Well, getting attention, so they call you, ask for questions, sweet talking to give you information, creating an interest, so they tell you, oh, your accounts, for example, it could be you've won so and so, or the bank is doing a promo, or you say you've won a scholarship, you've won so and so lottery, that's creating interest, creating a desire. Well, based on human greed, they know that humans would want to jump at something that is given to them freely. So create desire and the targets to act. So when they put all these steps together, all the information they pick from all these steps, they use to build a profile and then do the attack. So yeah, I have movies that have social engineering reference. Now You See Me. Yeah, sorry, Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, that's one. Catch Me If You Can is a movie that shows a lot of social engineering. You could go watch it later on. Shows how someone who purchased a pilot's uniform was able to trick his way into becoming a pilot and then gain information from people. Was able to use his skill as well at one point to defraud law enforcement agents. At that point, later helped them with the skill. I think this guy is now a security consultant. There's also You Got Mail. There's also the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are books that explains about social engineering in detail. So if you want to get more contextual knowledge about social engineering, you check these movies or this book. Okay. So now we talked about all this. One more thing I'm going to show is a service called Have I Been Pwned? HaveIBeenPwned.com. So I mentioned earlier that when attackers steal credentials, they go to sell it on forums, right? So we call those stolen credentials breaches or breach dumps. And so a particular security researcher has been collecting all breaches that have happened in the last 10 years. And so he created a service where you can find out if your account has been compromised in a data breach. So you simply just put your email address. So in this case, I'm going to put one of my old email addresses. I think I've been using email address since 2007. This is not for my email address. I'm sure it shows me that my email address has been involved in a security breach, has been compromised. And so we have multiple services. There's Canva. I used to use Canva sometime in 2014 or 2015, I think. Collection One, exploit.india. This was actually a security forum I joined. So you see, on this, with this service, you can see what has been compromised. In this case, the combination of email addresses and passwords used to hijack other services. This data contains 2.7 billion records. So imagine an attacker has access to all these records. What they want to do is look at the email address, match it to the password, pick it up, and go try to log into your service, right? Now we've seen that some attackers they're actually services, which is what I was supposed to demo. Just a second. The exact tool name. Well, so this is a tool that uses the Hawaii Punch API, uses this service. So you go cross through the service, going to fit an email. If you see the screenshots, this is what it looks like. So all you need to do is feed it with an email address, and it tells you the password that has been found. This is what most criminals use. So they pick this to give it an email address or even a username. Feed it, it turns the password, and then it still tries to log into some common services like Facebook, Twitter, GitHub. For people who use GitHub, Google, Yahoo, tries to log into them and returns, in this case, login successful. You see this one as well. In this case, login successful to Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. So this is a tool that these people use. Now, how can we know the risk associated with not having a secure password, how criminals play on social engineering to get access to your credentials, right? So we talked about having a strong password. That is one of the common recommendations. Having a strong password. Having a strong password is one thing. Having a password manager to manage it is another thing. But then, what makes it even more secure is when you have what we call two-factor authentication. So I talked about, multi-factor authentication, where you have multiple means of authenticating. So like I said in the beginning, you have something you know, which is your password. You have something you have possibly, which is your authentication, your fingerprints or a retina scanner, eye scanner. Then you could have a text message sent as well. Let's go this. We have a text message sent to you as well. Yeah. Or you could have an authenticator app on your device or your phone that generates these tokens. So multi-factor authentication, yeah, you have username, password, you have the second authentication. I think we're most familiar with having hardware tokens. So people who have to pay transactions online, internet banking, and then your bank requests that you have a token, or the bank mandates that you have a token. So after you've entered the username and password, enter the amount you're going to transfer or start to initiate your transaction, they request for a token. Same thing with when you're paying online. So if you're going to make a payment, say for example, on paystack.com or Jumia or Ponga buying something, right? It will there will be a request for an OTP. That is another form of MFA. But you want to go the extra step and put two-factor authentication on all your services. So if you notice, when I check Facebook, when I try to log into Facebook, after filling my username and password, it goes to ask me for an extra authentication, which is a security key. I use a security key, a security key. Now, this security key, which it's a hardware token I have, I use it to plug it, a USB, into my laptop. If I plug it and touch the key, it automatically logs me in. That is something I have. That is my second factor authentication. For services like your Gmail or Twitter or Yahoo or others, you could instead have a token, a generated token on your phone mobile app. And for this, I use a service called Otzi. Otzi is is favorite two-factor authentication service. So all you do is download it for on your phone, and you have the app. So every time you want to sign into your favorite sites, so your Gmail, or your Twitter or Instagram, it asks you for a token. So I'm going to try the demo for Instagram, so you could see. Okay. I'm trying to open the app now. Where are you? Instagram. Yeah. Confirm. So it logs me in. Without this token, I can't log into my accounts, right? Now, when people complain about having their accounts being compromised, their Instagram accounts, somebody hacked it, or their Twitter accounts, what would have prevented that in the first place if you had 12-factor authentication set on your accounts? All you need to do is go to settings. Depending on the service, you just need to locate the settings part of the app, and then you can see where to service, settings, security. You can see where to enable two-factor authentication for each of the services. What else? Yeah, so that covers for two-factor authentication. Okay. I think there's something I'm missing. I'm supposed to say, but I can't just remember. Confidence. Is there anything you think I should talk about?
No, I think you've covered all the grounds, but there are lots of interesting questions that are already coming through here that I would like us to take at this point. I'll start with my questions and then we can flow to questions of everyone else. But I'm doing that because I want to give everyone on this webinar a time to drop a question in the Q&A using the Q&A button. Just drop your question so that Eyitemi is going to answer the questions. Okay, so my first question is it still good advice to change passwords regularly, and really how regularly is regular in your own terms, or in your own your own views? What's the right thing to do?
Okay, so yeah, it's quite tricky changing passwords. There's something we call threat modeling, right, in security, where you assess what am I protecting, what can go wrong with what I'm protecting, and what do I have to do to protect it, right? Based on your threat model, yeah, that's how I advise if you should change your password regularly. So for somebody working for organizational accounts, yes, change your password, say 3 months, every 3 months. Well, on the average, every 3 months. Some organizations have policies that say change it every months, some every month. But the average is to change your password every 3 months, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that is the advice. Change your passwords regularly, like every 3 months. There's this common saying that goes in security that treat your password like a toothbrush, right? Yeah. You don't use your toothbrush for more than 3 months, so same thing in your passwords. But like I said, it all boils down to your threat model. What is it you're protecting? What have you put in place to protect it? And yeah, how are you protecting it? So if you are using a service that doesn't provide 2FA, for example, if my Twitter account doesn't have two-factor authentication, I will want to change my password, my Twitter password, say on the average every 3 months here. Once I think it's possible that password might have been compromised, I want to go ahead and change it. Also, And that thing that should inform your decision on changing passwords is when you use the service I mentioned earlier, haveibeenpwned.com. So when you go to Have I Been Pwned, where is it now? Trying to type in. Yeah. So when you go to haveibeenpwned.com, I do this like on the average every 2 weeks. Go to Have I Been Pwned, try typing my password, my emails, whichever of my emails. Tell me and check. So this one tells me, oh, my password appears on one breach site. So, well, this one, I think I know what service it is. I'll go there to that service and change my password. That's informed my frequency of changing passwords. Apart from changing every 3 months, if I have to change lesser than 3 months, because yeah, it's possible it has been compromised. Yeah, so that answers that.
Okay, awesome. So another question I have for you, I'm seeing a lot of interesting questions coming through from the attendees, but for non-technical people and seniors, that is like our senior Egbon, our mothers, our fathers, our uncles, what ways would you recommend that they store and manage their passwords?
Okay, so another thing is it boils down to threat modeling again. For the senior people, right, what are they trying to protect? Are they trying to protect their bank details? Are they trying to use their accounts? Depends on what they're trying to protect, right?
So let me give you an example. A lot of them are on Facebook.
Okay.
In fact, I left Facebook for my father to enjoy.
Okay.
You know, a lot of them are using WhatsApp and stuff like that. So on a platform like Facebook, and many of those other platforms that they're beginning to use these days that can be compromised. How would you advise that, you know, they manage their passwords?
Okay, so for the elderly people, older folks, non-technical folks, who do not have the technical knowledge to use a managed password manager like LastPass or a 1Password, you could just use your browser password option. So when you try to log into, send it to a new service, into any service, it asks you if you want to save your password to the browser. That is where you can change your password. Save their passwords to the browser, but then remember to change it because they might forget the passwords. That's why they should save it to browser. That's the option. Another option, which might sound absurd, but what I would definitely recommend is have a book, write those passwords down, and hide that book out of sight. So it should be hidden in a place where only you can have access to it, or possibly hidden in a safe or in a vault. It seems absurd, but it's a way which, because now non-technical folks may not understand how to generate a new password on their password manager, or how to automatically save, automatically add passwords to any service decided to. They won't understand how to automatically add the password to password manager. So yes, having that sort of traditional password manager, a notebook or diary or something, could work for them in that case. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So my next question is, some people object to the use of password managers because they say it constitutes a single point of failure. So how would you respond to this school of thought?
Okay, single point of failure as password manager is very, very valid, right? Mm-hmm. So what advice in that case is, one, host your password manager. You can host your password manager on your own server, right? And be able to do backups. So there are services, I think there are popular password managers. I don't remember which one now, but I know not LastPass. I think maybe 1Pass or KeePass. Yeah, KeePass gives you the option to host your password manager on your own server, not on their server. And once you have it on your server, you have the option of doing backups. So you can duplicate your backups across multiple places, right?
That's the point of failure that they are talking about is like, so if your password manager is hacked, then they have access to everything. Do you get what I mean? I think that's where this single point of failure rhetoric is coming from.
Oh, that's what I was saying here, that if you don't host on a shared service, or host it yourself. But if you don't have technical without hosting yourself, you could decide to use the traditional password manager that comes with your browser, or you could decide to go the long step of having to memorize all your passwords. Memorize password for your Twitter, for your Facebook, for all your services. Like I showed you when I logged into my own LastPass, I have over 300 and something services I've signed up for, right? On this particular password manager. I can't memorize all of them, but if you're smart enough to memorize them, right? All the best. Go ahead, memorize them, but ensure that you have strong passwords that will take a long time to crack or are uncrackable. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to memorize it to crack it, say instantly. Say so. This is a random password that will crack. This is how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did a 10-character password cracks in one day, right? And what 10-character password might be hard to memorize. Some people say you should use phrases. Some people advise that you use passphrases. So a passphrase could be something.
That's my next question. So my next question is, instead of passwords, users are being advised to use passphrases. So do you think this is a method that's viable for users who have maybe to log into multiple sites? What are your thoughts about this?
So first advice is do not use the same password for multiple services. So that if one service gets compromised, all the others don't get compromised as well. 2012, Mark Zuckerberg's Twitter and Facebook accounts were compromised. Why? Because LinkedIn was hacked. And when LinkedIn was hacked, the password dump was made public. I think I saw it another period. And somebody was searching through some Mark Zuckerberg's email. I think mark@zuckerberg.com or mark@facebook.com, something like that. And then check the corresponding password, log into LinkedIn, it was working. He took it to Twitter, tried it was working. Took it to Facebook, tried it was working. So on Twitter, I think on Twitter, he posted something very, I think something very sarcastic or so, or like this. Okay, not Mark Zuckerberg, but there's somebody else popular that they did that to same procedure and posted the suicide notes, right? So once you have the same password on multiple services, it collapses. Now back to passphrases. You could set up passphrases for multiple accounts if you can remember them. One rule of thumb, or one thing I suggest when creating passphrases is to do something like this. So say something, the year of Lord Jesus 2020. Oh, okay, that 2010 is fine. Yeah. Now this is a phrase, right? I can type this whole thing as a password. It works as a passphrase. Or I can pick the first characters of every single word here. So that would amount to T, Y, O, O, L, J, then add the numbers 2010. This works as a passphrase. If you can go these steps, if you're very paranoid, then you can go these steps and remember it. Awesome. You have amazing threat model, right? Like I mentioned, threat model is what are you protecting? How am I going about protecting it? What can I do to ensure better protection of this, right? So if you're protecting your Gmail account contains top secrets that can sink in nation, you can go this method instead of having to use a password manager. You can go the passphrase method, use a passphrase, ensure you remember it. Yeah, and you're great, good to go. It doesn't have to be just this, it could be whole phrases. It could be phrase, say, for example, your favorite quotes from a movie. You could type the whole quotes with add special characters to accentuate it, and you're great.
Okay. So that brings me to my last question. I know that there are a lot of people itching. I just want to ask this last question. Please bear with me, guys. And then after that, we're going to call on Suleiman to unmute his mic and then ask his question. So you tell me, what practical features and benefits of password managers should users be on the lookout for?
So quite a couple of things. Look out for a password manager that allows you to save multiple services. So for example, you can have 3 or 4 Twitter accounts and have different services for that one. Password manager that has good reputation. So if you check among the top 10 password managers, a bunch of them have been hacked previously, like about 2-3 times in the past. So you check with one that has a good reputation and that security professionals recommend. So most security professionals will recommend 1Password, or LastPass. These are the two that most people recommend. Other people will recommend others, but so those are things you look out for. Then look at, depending if you want a premium service, or you want a free service, or you want a freemium service. So you check your provides this as well. That's something else to look out for. What else? Look at the option of migrating. So let's say tomorrow you wake up and you don't want to use LastPass again because you hear LastPass has been hacked. You want to migrate to one password. Look if there's the option of exporting all your saved passwords, all your saved credentials, and exporting it into the new password manager. So those are things you want to look out for. Yeah. Then password manager that has, the most important, usability. So password manager that works on mobile, works on desktop, works in browser. You want a password manager that switch. So for example, my password manager, I just need to sign into, anytime I get a new device, I just need to sign into my password manager on the new device and have my passwords on that new device, right? I have like 3 laptops and then the phone. I have the same password manager synchronized across all devices. So you want password manager that affords that usability and then has easy to interact user experience. So where was LastPass just now?
Okay, because of time, I will just have to pass off and just quickly start asking for people to ask their questions because we have really run out of time.
Sorry, one thing I should just say, I think I should say, back to single point of failure, how of password managers. I think multi-factor authentication to provide to protect against that as well. So if your password manager provides a 2FA option, you have ensure to enable that. Also for every service, even though you're using a password manager, ensure to have 2FA across every services. So a case that happened last year, somebody that I know had 2FA across all the services. One particular service he didn't have 2FA for was his domain provider. Somebody got access to that, took over his domain, was able to set his email, took over all his accounts. Because just one service didn't have 2FA. So even though password manager may be a single point of failure, if you have 2FA across all our services, even though the passwords get compromised, there's still 2FA to protect against that.
To protect, yeah. That's a very cool addition there. And many password managers have 2-factor authentication too, as a protection. So you want to bear that in mind. But generally, I just say no matter how safe the password manager is, have 2-factor authentication turned on everywhere possible. And if possible, avoid 2-factor authentication using your phone number. It's better off to use a device, a physical device, or a code generated on your phone, using an authenticator app. There are many of them available now. But let me just jump in and allow Suleiman. Suleiman, can you just ask your question really in 10 seconds or less?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I actually came late for the class, so I want to appreciate the host of this wonderful meeting. Yeah, I just want to confirm if we will be having the record of this program first.
Yes,
and I don't know.
Yes, there will be a recording.
Yes, okay, fine. And I don't know again if we might be able to have the direct contact of the panelists so that we can ask them questions based on what we have missed, or after watching the video, we might need to ask some questions. I don't know if you have the opportunity of still talking with the panelists.
That's fine. What we'll do is we'll quickly just pop the link in. We'll put the link in, LinkedIn links in the chat, so you're going to get to see that.
LinkedIn and Twitter is fine.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to go on to the next question. It's from Omo. He's asked quite a couple of questions. He's asking what service provider do you use for your hardware token? And then what's the best way to avoid social engineering via WhatsApp?
Oh, yes. So, quite interesting questions. Service provider, I use a YubiKey for my hardware token. So I use a YubiKey 5C. That's the particular one I have now. Thankfully, it works across all my laptops and then on my phone as well. Also, I use a Pixel 3. So YubiKey is USB-C. Works, but then there are different models. There's the regular USB A model, USB-C model across all USB types. YubiKey, that is trustworthy. I've been using it for over a year, since April last year. Yes, since April last year, I'm using it. And it's saved me also. It saved me actually on many occasions. The other question, how to prevent social engineering on WhatsApp. This is something I should have highlighted. So yeah, we get a lot of time we get messages on WhatsApp like, oh, so airline is giving out airline tickets. Click on this link to register. Or Jumia is doing 10-year anniversary and they are giving out free gifts, 90% discounts.
Yeah.
Click on this link. Yeah. So those are phishing links, right? That would want you to put in your credentials or want you to give out information, personal information that could be used to attack you. So when you see a link, same thing I tell my mom that once you see a message on WhatsApp that has a link, first thing you want to check is read through the message, look at the links. So for example, if it says jumia.com, look at it if it's misspelled or it is spelled correctly. That's one thing. Look at the URLs. Don't rush to click on any links that sent to you, whether email or WhatsApp or whatever medium. Don't rush to click on links. Try and verify if it is. Then also, before you click on the link, just do a 2-second check and then Google scam. So Jumia scam. There's a high probability that you will see that same exact message that was sent to you on your Google search. So it just takes 2 seconds roughly to do that search. Once you've done that, you can now come and look at it. Yeah. But the rule of thumb,
like that tip.
Yeah, rule of thumb, do not click on any links. So you can go the other extra step and ask the person that sent it to you, ask again. So this link you sent to me, what is it about? Have you tried it? What am I expecting to see if I click on the link? And things like that. Yeah. Ask for the person. If it's a mutual, it's possible that the person is just transmitting the message you received. But if it's somebody who is, say, actively, maliciously trying to hack, the person may just want to give you, oh, it's legitimate, click on it. But seek other opinions, look at the domain name, if it's spelled correctly. If you see unsuspecting characters, there's a possibility to that, maybe a phishing link. So you want to seek expert opinion. Yeah. So maybe send to someone to verify.
Okay. Great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to move on to the next question really quickly. Is it advisable to have your password saved on Google Password while using Google Chrome?
If you're the only person having access to that device, yeah, pretty cool. That because there's a limit of physical access to that device by other people by malicious laptop. But there's a possibility that your Google Chrome might be vulnerable to a particular browser exploits, right? There's a possibility that an attack could be done through the browser, and Google has not patched it yet, and the attacker is going to leverage an exploit to steal your password to Google Chrome, right? So there's that high possibility, but it's let's say almost a far-fetched risk because Google security does their bits to their job to ensure every vulnerability is patched on time in a matter of hours or days. So yeah, you could go ahead save your passwords in browser, but it all depends on what passwords to what services are you saving in your browser, right? Some people swear by Google Password Manager, but I would prefer you use a managed service like LastPass or KeePass or OnePass, where these people, they dedicate all their lives to just building a security solution as a password manager, as against Google that has, well, multiple products. They have a browser, they have to optimize your browser, optimize this, and then they build a password manager as an addition. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. But it all depends on what you're trying to protect.
Okay. Okay, we also have another question from Fatima here. She's asked 2 questions. So I'll just take them together. Can we use LogPass to generate a safe password, which also saves it and auth together, so we use them separately?
Use LastPass to generate a password.
Yeah. Okay. Can we use LogPass to generate
that should
a
be
password?
LastPass.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can use LastPass to generate the password. Use LastPass to generate the password and save the password on LastPass. Auth is a 2-factor authentication token generator. Maybe if I didn't explain that well, let me explain it again. Auth is a token generator. So the same way you would have used your bank, say UBA or whatever bank, to give you a token that when you're doing, after entering a password, you require to enter the token. Or you're paying for something online, they send you a text with the token, right? Now that text method is not exactly safe, as if people get hacked by that SMS-based two-factor authentication. So that's why I advise use a app, a two-factor authenticator. So because that one is always on your phone, it's a mobile app, you have to generate, like every time you have to log in, you have to go to the app and generate it to log in, right? Yeah, so OT is just for generating the token. It's a two-factor authenticator generator. There is another one, Google Authenticator, but I advise people to use OT because it's easier to transfer your OT. If you lose your phone or whatever, it's easier to transfer all your saved accounts to another device as against Google Authenticator that doesn't provide that means. But these are the two best industry authenticator apps. Does that clarify the question?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, if it doesn't, please, Fatima, you can drop a message.
Generate safely with last. Okay. But just to say again, generate a password safely with LastPass, save it on LastPass, and then set up where if you have to on that service, OT generates a token for that service.
Okay. Okay, so she says it's clear. Her second question is it advisable to switch the password? That is, if you use ABC if I use ABC for my Facebook, I can use XYZ for Twitter. Is it okay to switch ABC for Twitter and then XYZ for Facebook? So I don't know if you understand the question, but I think she's saying that, you know, just so that she doesn't have to remember so many passwords, she can just switch them around.
Okay, I get that, right? Yes, now that may seem easy for you, right? But this is just a what if the password you're switching from Twitter, you want to use it, so you're using ABC on Twitter before and using XYZ on Facebook, and you decide to use ABC on Facebook and XYZ on Twitter, is that it? Right? That's the question, right? Now, you do that switch, right? It works for you, but what if Twitter has been compromised? Like, remember, I showed a tool that tries to use complex passwords, tries to log into multiple services at the same time. So if at one time Twitter has been compromised and they've gotten access to that password, even though you're no longer using Twitter, but the person tried that same password on Facebook, he will get access to Facebook. So it's better you do not reuse passwords. It's called credential reuse. It's not to reuse passwords. Password you before on Facebook, to use it on Twitter, or use it on LinkedIn, or use it on Instagram. It's better not to reuse passwords. It's best. That's why I showed the option of your password manager to generate a new password. You can generate a random password, readable password, something spellable, or something totally random. You can do the same thing. You can do it on your phone or your laptop. It works on both devices.
Okay, great. But the second to the last question here is, what was the first password manager you used? And then the last question is, I want to know the most recommended password managers, please.
First password manager I used was the Google Password Manager. I used it for a long while before I eventually trusted LastPass. I started using LastPass.
Okay.
I've used KeePass, but in a professional setting, so like an organization that required us to use. Sorry, I used a one password. Like an organization that required all of us to use one password. So I've used one password as well. But personally, I use LastPass. Yeah. Recommended, those are the two I would recommend. LastPass or one password. Those are the two I would recommend. If you check for best password manager across everybody that will do a review, they will always recommend these two as top, either first or second. They always fluctuating in that range.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much, Ayitemi. I have dropped the links to contact Ayitemi on the chat box. I've also dropped all the links for Nogo Fomaga, the host organization, so you can ask questions after this event. Very, very importantly too, I have dropped the link for our YouTube channel. We have been putting up videos of our previous webinars, and this one is also going to be made available on our YouTube channel. So it's a good idea to follow us on all our social media platforms, especially YouTube, and then click the bell sign so you can always get alerts once we have a new video up. So in case you miss these videos replay coming in through your mailbox, you will not miss it if you're following us on YouTube. So this is a good time to follow us. Thank you so much, Ayitemi, for sharing with us so freely. Someone's asking, is it LastPass or is it LogPass? Sorry, last question.
Last pass.
It's last pass. I'm going to type it. It's last pass. I'm going to type it in the box there for you. Yeah.
Like last, the opposite of first.
Like last bus stop.
Yeah. Last bus stop. Yeah. So last pass.
Okay.
The
So
other
thank you
one
very
is
much.
one password.
Okay. One
I type
password. One
that
as in.
well.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any more questions, please drop me a message on any of his social media platforms, which I've shared the links. Thank you so much, me, for taking out time to be with us today. And we hope to see more of you. I see you do so much amazing work for the volunteering around the place. We would like to have more of you too, and getting a feel of you at Nogo Formaga. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. I see a couple of our friends of the house. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us generally. We hope to see you in our next webinars. We hold these webinars 6 p.m. on Friday every week. So we have a new person coming in, or a person that's been here before, but sharing a topic of interest around cybersecurity every week. So please follow us on social media so you won't miss out from these events. Thank you so much and have a great time.
Bye.
Bye.